Hey, it's me, GV, and welcome to a Mercenary guide for the Judgment, Risk of Rain Returns, Providence Trial. This one's a little bit different. We're going to start with the Guardian's Heart here and not the hit list, and it's simply because I have not been able to make the hit list work for the Mercenary. The Mercenary has a lot of iframes, so it's kind of nice to have the Guardian's Heart because it'll come back a lot of the time during your iframes. And yeah, basically, as far as I've seen, it's almost necessary to get the Guardian's Heart to start, just because it is so difficult to survive as the Mercenary without it. So yeah, an overview of his skills. Basically, you swing your beam sword for your normal attack, which, you know, you're not going to use until like mid to late game because you're not going to be able to ever attack because you'll die instantly. His LT you won't be using too often. I mean, you can use it to damage, but ultimately you can just interchange it with your basic attack. By LT, I mean your secondary attack, little blade spin. Really, what the early game comes down to is using your utility skill, because you get 3 dashes and you are invincible during the dash. So, unfortunately, it doesn't deal that much damage. If it dealt more damage, it'd be really nice, because you could, like, dash and then keep dealing damage, basically. But, yeah, it doesn't deal that much damage, but it does give you iframes, as well as your ultimate gives you iframes also. So, you'll basically be constantly using your utility and your ultimate to make yourself invincible over and over and over again, because the Mercenary dies so easily, which is not fun, obviously. So yeah, you also get a bit of a knockback effect or a knock-up effect. So when there's just like 1 or 2 enemies, you can, just use the beam sword to knock them back. I'm going to grab my first heal here, and we're going to grab the hard light afterburner, as well as the gasoline for some AoE. Gasoline's really good. The energy cell to attack faster when we're low health, and we're going to grab an early Hopu feather because the Mercenary always wants to stay in the air pretty much constantly. And yeah, we need the he just has no damage. That's the bad thing about this character early game, is like you have to just loop all the enemies and then basically use your dashes and then try to deal damage the best that you can, but he just has no damage at all. It's like the Miner, but with no damage. But luckily, he gets more iframes and, is faster than the Miner. So, yeah, basically we get the hard light afterburner so that we have 3 dashes, which means 9 total dashes, because you use it once and you can use it 2 times more, and then that's times 3 with the hard light afterburner. So basically, you can be invincible like all the time. So whenever, the magma worm's coming up, you can turn invincible and all that. Far easier said than done. This is going to be one that you'll probably have to practice, just because the Mercenary sucks, in my opinion. He's kind of fun, I guess, but yeah, this one was a little awful. So we'll check back in with all of our item choices, any other tips or hints, and I'll see you there. Bye-bye. Okay, so here I think I make a mistake, actually. I get the backup magazine. I didn't even end up using the secondary skill, like, ever. So I definitely would recommend the energy cell or Paul's goat hoof instead, honestly, than the backup magazine, you know, depending on what you want to do. Rusty knife for some bleed. As usual, we get the rapid mitosis and the unstable watch because that's just a crazy combo. You'll always be able to throw up the watch, which is super duper nice. And yeah, moving on. This stage actually sucks for the mercenary. You have to really use the stopwatch when like all of the enemies are corralled, just because, yeah, it's you have like no single target damage. So basically the enemies keep spawning and then you want to use your stopwatch. This is where gasoline comes in super handy because you'll be able to you know, kill one enemy and set the ground on fire, which will, you know, combo into other enemies dying. But yeah, Link's Totem isn't too bad, thankfully, but everything else in this stage kind of sucks to fight one-on-one because they're so mobile. All right, next up, I think I grab a Frost Relic here. I feel like Frost Relic is kind of slept on. It feels like it does a lot. I don't know, but I like the Frost Relic, so I take that. Lensmaker's Glasses for crit chance, Ukulele for damage, and then I think I take the shield here, actually, instead of Ifrit's Horn. I don't know. Ifrit's Horn might have been better. It's just such a small shield amount, and I don't know exactly how much damage it does when it bursts. I'm not thinking it does a lot. So yeah, I might have done a little bit better had I taken Ifrit's Horn, honestly, since you will be attacking a lot during the mid to late game. And then yeah, this one, so as with the Mercenary, you really want to just corral all the enemies as best you can. Like, use your invincibility frames to stay alive as long as possible, and then, you know, use the watch and kind of kill everything at once. That's the best way I've found to use the Mercenary. But yeah, just jumping constantly, always moving as the Mercenary. That is, like, more important as this survivor than, like, any other survivor. Moving on, here I take the soldier syringe. I usually like playing where I have like one of each item. I just feel like having multiple effects is better than having stacked effects sometimes. The missiles, the predatory instincts, and then we're going to grab another frost relic just because, like I said, I feel like the frost relic's really good. It might not deal that much damage, but it combos with the gasoline to just deal like a lot of AoE at once. And then this is a stage where you can kind of take a breather because Ifrit's not too difficult as usual. We probably don't even need to use the stopwatch. I would probably recommend using the stopwatch for the bowls here instead of Ifrit if you're confident. Because, yeah, Ifrit's not really that bad at all. As usual with melee characters, we're going to take the repulsion armor, just because we're going to be getting hit all the time. I still don't know if Spike Strip or Fire Shield is better. I keep taking Fire Shield, and it seems to work, so I'm going to stick with that. We're going to grab the Crowbar, and then we're going to grab another Guardian's Heart. Keep in mind, you can grab that item that spawns chests and then wait to spawn 2 chests, but in my luck, I keep getting that stupid mitt that does nothing, so I just tend to go for the Guardian's Heart. Plus, Guardian's Heart's really good on the Mercenary. So as usual with this stage, we're going to kind of let everything spawn, making sure to jump over the fire on the ground. And then when everything's looped up, I'm going to activate the stopwatch and kind of just go to town, destroying everything with the gasoline and with the frost relic and with all the other stuff that triggers. Okay, and here I've started taking the Jar of Wisps, or I guess I should say Will o' the Wisp. I swear it used to be called Jar of Wisps, didn't it? We're going to grab the Golden Gun for some extra damage. We're going to grab the Toxin, since we'll be touching a lot of enemies, because we're in melee range. And we're going to grab the Mortar Tube, which I slept on for a long time, but the Mortar Tube seems to be definitely the best choice when it comes to certain choices here. And then as usual, I'm going to try to deal some damage as the Cremator is spawning in, and then use the stopwatch when he starts to move to immediately delete him, and then proceed to go slowly through the rest of this map and delete everything. Now here I take the Brilliant Behemoth for like the first... Did I just grab 2 heals there? Or did I just grab 1? I'm not even sure what it... yeah. Anyways, here I grabbed the Brilliant Behemoth for the first time like ever. Just because I figure... I wanted to try it out. We grabbed the Missile as well, and we grabbed the Guardian's Heart, and I believe the Rusty Knife. I just wanted to try out how much damage the Brilliant Behemoth did. And I'm still not sure if it's single target or AoE. I feel like it's AoE. But yeah, as usual, if you don't have anything that can delete this pig immediately, this round really gets scary. So I kind of wait for everything. I kind of look at my health, and like as I start to take damage and as everything gets on the same spot, that's when I use the stopwatch and try to deal as much damage as possible. And then I wait for the stopwatch again and rinse and repeat. And as always, watch out for the parents because they will destroy you. Now here, I think I opt for a triple jump just because, again, the Mercenary is really, really good when you are moving around. Grab a Sticky Bomb just to add another effect, another Mortar Tube, and the Harvester's Scythe to heal up if we need to heal up with crits, especially with our ultimate. It's going to trigger the crits a lot, so we might be able to survive if we heal. And then I'm going to take out the robot on the left, then the middle, and once the middle one spawns, I'm going to use the stopwatch and then take them both out, and then slowly make my way over to the final robot to the right. And then I think the Imp Overlord gets away from me here. This is a little bit of a hairy round for me, but we end up getting through it nevertheless. Finally, we are going to take a Lens Maker's Glasses and also the Hyper Threader since we're attacking a lot, and this thing will add to our DPS. We're going to take a Scarf as usual, and I'm going to opt to take the Harvester's Scythe again just because I feel like the Timekeeper Secret, it lasts too little, and you're not really able to do much with it, especially if you don't realize that it's triggered. So this is not the hardest Providence fight because you have so much maneuverability. Basically for this one, I would just say, you know, if you can't be close to Providence, make sure to be using your ultimate to deal damage to him. if he's the closest enemy, because it'll trigger, you know, a lot of different effects. And yeah, just obviously use those Hopu feathers to dodge out of the lasers. I think we get some close calls with the lasers, like we keep getting stuck with the lasers. And then don't forget to use your stopwatch as well. You know, you want to use it early so that it'll come back. The worms aren't too difficult, so I would use it like in the first round here. I think I try to reduce his HP to half first, and then when he's not invincible anymore, I use the watch, and then I save it for the final phase. But best of luck. Hope this guide helped. Thanks so much for watching. Please support the video and the channel. Check out the Patreon. Links in the description below, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.